So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to part two of Secrets of Horoscope and how to pick small little tidbits, in a person's horoscope by just knowing the most simplest of placements. And I've also, have this new option on my website called Horoscope Techniques Reading. So if you want to know exactly in your horoscope how things get activated, what thing is happening. So let's say if you get married, what becomes activated, your spouse gets a job, what becomes activated immediately in your life. All these little nitty-gritty things, I actually have that option now, and since you guys were requesting it. So, and also if you want to know your own horoscope and where exactly placements are, check out the links here. Check out my full astrological report, my books, consultations, and link to my school, Vedic Astrology Academy, where actually I am teaching these type of techniques right now, especially through nakshatras. So anyway, let's get started with these techniques. And please note, you have to know just the basics. The basic level one, the fundamentals of Jyotish, whether it's aspect, house, meaning of houses like dharma, karma, artha, moksha houses, what the planet stands for, what aspects do planet have. These are the most basics of things. And then if you know the nakshatras, it's even more beautiful then. Then you'll see how life kind of becomes easier as well. Okay, so let's get started with this. So, and then also you got to remember is that you can use transits on these techniques as well. Like if a planet is transiting over a certain planet, and if you know about, sign, nakshatra, houses, you can see how things are activating. And you got to understand, these things can be quite dreadful and negative, And so obviously in my readings, I try to stay away from those type of things. But like, for example, you have ninth lord. You have ninth lord in the second house. Okay. So what is ninth house? Ninth house represents fathers, preachers, counselors, advisors. Okay. It represents pilgrimage, gurus. What is second house? Wealth, money, fame, family, savings, bank account. So if you have such a placement, when your father gets sick, when your father gets into debt, you tend to make money. You tend to get recognition. You tend to get more savings, especially if ninth lord is well placed in the second house. Now, if let's say ninth lord is in a troubled position in the second house, and it's going to take me a long time to tell you what is troubled and what is not. But, obviously impact of malefics will be more troubled. So when your father gets sick, you tend to lose money. You tend to use a lot of curse words. Suddenly, you'll be like getting angry and using your harsh speech. And if you ever do, and if you have this placement, and if you haven't, let's say, spoken to your father in 2 weeks, a month, call him up. Say, hey, Dad, what's going on with you? Are you sick? Or do you just take on any debt? So if your father took on any debt, your second house will become active. And let's say, for example, if ninth lord is in the second house. Okay. And for example, if that planet is in the nakshatra of, let's say, Purva Falguni. Okay, that planet is in nakshatra Purva Falguni. And if it's in a good placement, somehow you will be buying either bed sheets or you will be buying mattresses for your home or a new bed. And specifically, when your father is sick, you will suddenly get urge to eat seafood. Whether it's fish, salmon, crab legs. Suddenly you'll be like, you know what? I want to eat seafood today. I have a craving. When you feel like you have a craving, find out if your father is alive. See if father is going through, or if you have a guru, see is guru dealing with some health issues. And like I was giving you the Shoe example. Okay. So let's say your ninth lord is in the second house, and your ninth lord is in the sign of Libra, and it's in a nakshatra of Swati. When you buy shoes, your father gets sick. Your father gets into death or some health issue happens if the ninth lord is not in a well-placed position in Libra. Now, on the other hand, if your second house is well-placed, is nicely placed, and whenever you just randomly buy shoes, your father will defeat his enemies. Your father will defeat his competition. So that's one instance. And sometimes, or actually most of the time, you will notice when father passes away. And here's the thing. This is nothing negative. Everybody passes away. I'm going to be gone. I might be watching myself in next life. That could happen, although I wish it doesn't. But we all pass away. This is nothing like, oh my God. If you think you're not going to pass away, then you got some issues up here. But you will notice whenever, and it says especially, I've seen it working in female's horoscope as well, but mainly I've seen it more working in a male horoscope for some reason. When father passes away, your career suddenly does well. Your career shoots up. Or for example, if somebody is in a situation where, let's say 30-year-old, and I actually had this position, they didn't start their career till they were 30, 31. First job when they were 30. They couldn't get nothing. And they also mentioned, and this is not something that I said, they actually mentioned it themselves. My father passed away when I was 30, and then obviously then I was desperate to find a job, but then I did find a job within, 6 months of my father passing away. Why? Why did this happen? Because first of all, what are the marka houses in our chart? The house that represents the killer houses, the death inflicting houses. Second house, seventh house, eighth house. This is the most basic information, right? From the ninth house of father, if you make ninth house the ascendant, which would be the houses from the ninth house of marka, which would be the 10th house, okay, the 4th house, and the 5th house. So 10th house is career, 4th house is storage and gaining of fixed assets, 5th house is speculation, transformation of jobs, transformation of career, children, which are actually very good houses. So what happens is when someone's father passes away, suddenly these houses click, they turn on. All three houses, 10th house, 7th house, 10th house, 4th house, and 5th house. Why? Because they are the marka placement from your 9th house of the father. Same thing. When someone's mother passes away, one attains a lot of gains. Not necessarily through the mother, but just in general, they will start gaining recognition, achievements, awards, and gain. Why? Because which is the house of the mother? The 4th house. Which are the marka houses from the mother? The 4th house. That would be the 2nd house, 10th house, and 5th house, 10th house, and 11th house. So from your ascendant, the 5th house, 10th house, and 11th house are the marka placements. So when mother passes away, which could either be the 2nd from itself, 7th or 8th, and 8th is from the 4th house is the 11th house of recognition. And this is why you will notice, and this is what I noticed too, like whenever big actors have achievements, they find some award. I see athletes getting Hall of Fame, achievements. They always tend to say, I wish my mother was here to see me. And then you find out their mother passed away last year or a few months ago, 4 months ago. I've seen there's a lot actually. Hopefully I can even collect 6, 7, 8 horoscope because I know I've seen these, I've heard these speeches. Like, I wish my dad was here. My dad would have loved it. And so when you see that happen, you see, okay, now I see why this person suddenly got the achievement that they were looking for. Because the marka houses become active. So again, you got to understand, your mother, my mother, they will all pass away. your father will pass away just like my father passed away. And it's so amazing that when my father passed away, boom, I just started working. I was working a little bit before that, but suddenly it wasn't even about paying the bills. Just as easily I was able to uh, get jobs, and suddenly my creative side became active, artistic side became active. And it was actually after maybe 4 months after my father passed away, I suddenly had love for filmmaking and photography. So once I learned these things, I'm like, okay, now it makes sense as to why certain things are happening. Let's say, for example, you have your fourth house of mother. Okay. Let's say you have your fourth house of mother, let's say in the 10th house. Okay. Fourth house of mother is in the 10th house. And let's say that particular planet, any planet, let me choose a nakshatra here for you to make it more interesting. Let's say that planet is in the nakshatra of Chitra. So fourth lord of mother is in the 10th house in the nakshatra of Chitra. Let's say you are married. Okay. And for some odd reason, your mother, maybe on Christmas, Diwali, some occasion, or on the birthday of your mother-in-law, gifts her gems, gives her some ring of gem, some locket of gem. Suddenly, within 7 or 10 days, your career skyrockets. Think about it. Your mother gifts your mother-in-law gems, jewelry. Your career skyrockets. Or, for example, if your 12th lord is in the 6th house with the 4th lord mother. So 12th house, which is foreign places, foreign lands, multinational companies, ashrams, hospitals, isolated places. And the 4th lord is in the 6th house with the 12th lord. You will notice when your mother gets sick, you travel to foreign lands and suddenly you become spiritual. So if mother is sick, let's say for 1 week, she has a fever, she has a cold. Suddenly, and even if you're in a foreign country and you don't know what's happening, suddenly, first of all, you will have this urge to travel and you will have this urge to explore your spiritual divinity. You're suddenly going to want to go to monasteries, stay just in your room and just be in an isolated place. So when you understand, why is this happening? Why am I feeling this way? I'm not a spiritual person. I'm a very materialistic person, but suddenly I have this urge to just be walking near the beach and just sitting and being by myself. Well, in that case, call your mother, say, Mom, are you sick? Or did you just put a major debt on a credit card? And you will see how beautifully astrology works. Let's say, for example, your younger sibling, let's say you have a younger sibling, and let's say they go through a surgery. They have a surgery. Especially if third lord is in the 10th house and your younger sibling has surgery. Or even if, let's say, they just had surgery, doesn't even matter where the third lord is placed. Your career will become active and you may get a promotion. When your younger sibling has children, okay? And especially, let's say, if your third lord was in the 7th house, and let's say it was in a nakshatra of Uttar Bhadrapada. Third lord is in the 7th house in the nakshatra of Uttar Bhadrapada. Your younger sibling gets children, you will suddenly see getting huge promotion and wealth in your life, in your own life. And if you're single, you will find yourself getting married. And you will also go on a cruise, especially if the third lord in the seventh house also rules one of the houses of traveling. You will actually take a cruise as well. Well, actually, the third house does rule the third house of traveling anyway. So you see how these things happen. Why specifically Uttara Bhadrapada? Because Uttara Bhadrapada is one of the most wealth-giving, prosperous nakshatra, alongside Dhanishta, Revati, Pushya, Vishaka. So once you learn about nakshatras, once you learn about the houses and all these techniques, suddenly you start seeing, oh, so, my younger sibling, or let's say your 11th lord, okay, 11th lord was in the 5th house, and your elder sibling had a child. Suddenly you will be doing a lot of communication and traveling. You'll be learning some skill, and obviously that skill will depend upon what nakshatra 11th lord is in and where the third lord is placed. Because when elder sibling has children, 5th from the 11th house of elder sibling is the third house, which is of children. And especially, let's say, if 11th lord is in the 5th house in Dhanishta nakshatra, you will actually start learning some musical instrument when they have children. I'll give you another example. So let's say if you have Jupiter or Rahu, Ketu, Venus in the 8th house, especially in the sign of Aquarius, okay? You will notice that whenever you are taking a shower, or you're in a swimming pool, you're in a jacuzzi, you will get many ideas, especially in a shower. But even in swimming pool or jacuzzi, you'll get many occultic ideas. So let's say if you're an astrologer with this position, you will get ideas and insights into things. You'll be sitting in a shower and you're like, oh my God, that means this means that adds up to this. And this aspect is doing that. You will get those things. For example, let's say your 11th lord is in the 8th house. 2nd lord is in the 8th house in the sign of Aquarius. While you're taking a shower, you will get ideas to make money, how to gain money. Why? Because of the fact Aquarius is the water bearer who pours the water on the other people, the thirsty ones, meaning pouring the wisdom. Aquarius is the fish tank. Aquarius is a tank in itself, like an enclosed space. So either pouring of water, which is happening with the shower, or you being in a bathtub, swimming pool, jacuzzi, will give you ideas. Let's say, for example, your 4th lord is in the 6th house. 4th lord is in the 6th house. And for example, let's say it's in the nakshatra of Anuradha. If it's in the nakshatra of Anuradha, either when Saturn, like malefic planets, transits over this placement, okay, or whenever your mother gets sick, especially this is the beauty one. When your mother gets sick, you will have leakage in your home. You will have flooding in your home. And with that flooding, you could get flood of wealth and money. Because that's kind of like an omen. Although your 4th lord should be in a much better placement like Trikon or Kendra houses. But let's say in this case, mother would get sick and your 4th lord is in Anuradha, you will have flooding and leaky taps in your home. So simple things like this, you can analyze in a chart. So this is how we use these techniques. And there's many, many, many. I mean, I can actually spend 2 hours telling you all of these things. I mean, you're looking at birth chart. You can even use divisional charts for this. Okay. But anyway, I wish I could go on for a long time. But the thing is, I have a bit of a cold. I think you can probably hear it. You know, I've been just like emptying out snots, nasty little things. And I've been finally getting a little bit better. Yesterday, I didn't even have a voice. So anyway, guys, this was my Secrets of Horoscope little tidbits analysis. If you're new to my channel, subscribe below. And if you want to know in your own particular personal horoscope how these techniques are becoming activated, consultations are on this link, option 19 under shop section. Otherwise, also my books and my link to my schools are here. And we will see you tomorrow with our regular programming of the conjunction. Okay, bye-bye.